YouTube, what's good? 𝐬𝐨𝐬𝐿 here, and welcome back to the Game Lounge podcast, this time for September 2022. Rocking with me today, as always, is my twin co-host with the most. Can I get a hello from Eeenaa?
Hello.
Very literal. Very literal with today's intro. For me, we've got a special shout out today for Eeenaa's new YouTube channel. He's begun his YouTube journey, already pumped out a couple of really good videos, some Switch unboxings, game collections, game hauls. Really good mix of content. Eeenaa, if they hop over to your YouTube channel, what can they expect to see in the coming future?
It's
aside from what I've just mentioned.
yeah. I mean, I kind of want that stuff to still be there because obviously, I mean, we like talking about games, and I especially like to go on long tangents about games, as we know if you've listened to the podcast before. But next year, I'd say it's going to change quite drastically. So I'm actually this is a podcast exclusive, and I'll be making a video about it. But next year, which is absolutely the worst time to do this, I'm going to do a challenge where I am only going to play one game for the entire year. And yeah, I know it's going to be hard. It's a challenge, by the way. If I break it, like the challenge is over. So it's essentially can I get to a year? And in possibly the worst year to ever do it, considering how stacked next year is.
Yes.
I'm like, this is poor timing, but I really want to see if I can do it. So yeah, basically, I'm gonna make sort of an introduction video and talk about break down, what would make a good game to play all year. Do you play something multiplayer so you can still play with your friends, or do you play something single player that's big and open world and you can play it in different ways, or
100-hour type?
And then throw some game things in there. But currently, I'm leaning into Starfield of next year. And then the format for that will be I will be doing it week by week. So what I did in Starfield that week.
Okay, I like that concept.
Mixing in just some classic IRL comedy for when a new game comes out. Just me crying in a bathtub because I can't play. But also it won't technically stop me from collecting stuff. So there'll still be my collecting videos, I think. And if I need to do big updates to my collections in general, or if I get any cool new hardware, maybe. But it'll actually be a lot of in-game stuff eventually. Right now, it's all pretty IRL collection based, but it'll be both.
Very cool.
Both of those.
I'm interested to see this challenge. If you'd given this to me in probably 2008, I could have exclusively done it with RuneScape for the amount of hours that I sunk into that game. 2023 is looking very stacked, so I'm very curious to see how long you hold out. I give it until March, Feb March.
And this means everything too. Not even phone, not even portable.
That's
nothing
insane.
else.
That's a very hefty challenge.
Oh yeah, I don't know how I'm going to survive, but I think I'm going to be an expert in one way or another if I am able to play one thing for so long.
Going full competitive Starfield.
Oh god, yeah, exactly.
I like it. Well, to jump into the regular podcast topics, we'll start off with what games we've been playing. I might take this one to start off.
Go.
I kind of have been playing a couple of games through PlayStation Plus's Extra system, just with their revamped game library. It's been really good just to give me a good selection of games that I maybe wouldn't have necessarily touched before, and just to dip my toes in, and if I don't like it, then I don't have to play it, sort of thing, or continue to play it. So I kind of jumped first into Artful Escape. This was one that we'd kind of talked about as on the Game of the Year list in last year's Game of the Year podcast. I really liked the art style from this one, had seen playthroughs, and now finally got the chance to play it for myself. It's a fantastic game, man. The music in that is second to none. I still need to look up for that on Spotify to see if all the music's on there, but really cool, kind of side-scroller game. Very quick to get through and complete. I think if I hadn't taken a break between sessions and needed to do, pardon me, other things, I probably could have finished it up in like 5 hours, 5 to 6 hours. So when I say quick, it is ridiculously quick. And that's not even me like speed running it or anything like that. That's a full platinum run through too, so no second playthrough needed or anything.
That sounds like a dream right now.
Yeah, and like the boss fights that you do aren't really difficult in any sense. Like if you fuck up the button combination that it provides you, so it'll be like triangle, square, circle, bumpers. If you mess one of those up, it sort of just gets you to redo it, so you have no sense of failure when you do that. And that's not even like a difficulty setting. That's just like how the game is.
That sounds easier than like the Ghost of Tsushima cutting through the bamboo logs.
Oh yeah, literally, it is. It is way easier. So no real level of difficulty to it, but it is like a very chill, like Sunday afternoon, sit on the couch type game. So if you're into that and like a good bit of music, definitely recommend Artful Escape. Stray is also one on that list. I kind of broke this up over multiple days and kind of did the trophy haul for it. I still need to do the speedrun 2 hours one, but by all accounts, that seems relatively easy now that I know kind of where to go. But I'm just giving it like a little break for the moment. And yeah, I'll come back to that one to finish it up shortly. But really enjoying this like comfort genre of game.
How are you finding Stray? How'd you find it, rather?
Stray was good. I really liked the story, really liked the robot companions that you meet along the way. Couple of intense like little chase scenes with the... I totally forget their name, but I call them just the head crabs that you see around.
Head crabs.
You'll know what I mean when you get to the section, but
Gotcha.
yeah, it's fun. Like it's a very chill game. Again, kind of a quick one, which I've enjoyed. Nothing like 100+ hour, 50-hour open world, same quests sort of bullshit. So this has been nice to sort of jump into that. And sort of following that same trend, the other game on my list which I've got is Concrete Genie. So this was like originally like a PSVR game, but it's kind of been adapted now to be just a play as you will kind of thing. And it's like, the best way to describe it is like an not open world per se. It's like pretty small map that you play, but you go around and there's like essentially art that you paint on the wall, and you fulfill certain requests for these genies to bring life back into a pretty dead town. So it's lost all of its color, and you kind of use this magical paintbrush to bring life back to the world that you're living in. Pretty cool game. Very simple. Nothing to sort of worry about in terms of a quest line. Very easy trophy list as well, if you're into that. I think it's got like a 50% platinum completion rate, and it's...
That's pretty high.
Yeah, I've been splitting this one out a fair bit, but it's very casual, very comfy. And the final one on my list is a game called Chicken Police. I think that's the full name for it.
What the hell is Chicken Police?
I think the full name... Is that the full name for it? Yeah, it is. Chicken Police. It's kind of like a film noir, buddy cop, visual novel type story.
Oh, yeah.
But uses like real life type animal heads, kind of mixed and mashed with different scenes. It's pretty fun. I like the story behind it. I think it was what's the company who did this game? I want to say A24, but I don't think that's right. Let me look that up, otherwise that's really going to bug me.
Handy Games?
Oh, it was Handy Games. The Wild Gentleman, Massive Mini Team. Okay, I thought it was someone completely different. Anyway, yeah, not something that I'd really played before, the visual novel type game. So yeah, again, kind of thanks to that PlayStation Plus Extra, kind of allowed me to branch out and play a bit of a mix. So it's a fun game. It is very much just point and click, story based. So if you're into that, and it's a good little pickup.
Nice.
Hmm.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I mean, what I've been playing lately. So last night on stream, started playing Steel Rising, which is like a Souls-like set in like the French Revolution era, but like it's got robots everywhere.
Okay.
It's made by Spiders, who made Greedfall, and they're like a double A studio,
Okay.
and I love double A studio games. Pretty much anything that hits like a 70, I always like pick up from double A studios because usually they have the agility to make like really cool and interesting mechanics, unlike a lot of big triple A places. But yeah, I've played 2 hours and a half of it now, from the opening, and yeah, it's really fun. I really like it. The aesthetics are really cool. The weapon design's really cool. It's going to be definitely much more. It's definitely a simpler game than Elden Ring or any of the other Souls games. But yeah, really liking it so far.
Very nice.
Been playing on my DS. Been playing Kirby Triple Deluxe. It's a Kirby game. That's pretty much all you need to say about it. Since the one on the Switch, Forgotten Land.
Getting more into the Kirby games.
I like Kirby. They're very simple, but yeah, it's very good. I've been playing also some Ghost of Tsushima because I'm trying to platinum that game. I think I only got like 3 trophies left, but I've just been too lazy to set them up because I think one I'm going to have to redo in like a camp to like kick someone off like a cliff or something. But they're all just like very specific scenario trophies. And I'm just like, yeah, I'll get around to it. So I'm like 3 trophies away from the plat for that one.
Is this the Director's Cut edition that you're playing?
Probably not.
Ooh, what trophy are you working towards? I'm just trying to remember which one that would be.
I think that it literally is one where you have to like kick someone off and they die from the fall or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, Ghost of Tsushima is really good. So
yes, yeah, fantastic game. Really, really good.
And on my Switch, I've been playing Moonlighters. It's a game that I got ages ago on Steam, and it's just perfect on the handheld with the OLED screen. It looks really nice. It's basically like a store management game, but you also go into the dungeons to collect the stuff you're going to sell through like defeating enemies and opening chests and stuff. And it's really cool. It's a really great little indie game. Great soundtrack, really great sprite work. And yeah, I'd highly recommend Moonlighters. It's like at the start, it's like a bit grindy because you're really quite weak, but once you hit sort of the mid game, it starts to progress much faster. And plus, I love running shops, so that feels good, man.
Very nice. This again looks like a pretty cozy type game.
It is very cozy.
Official Netflix game.
No, I imagine maybe they've like picked up a contract for it, maybe, but it came out ages ago.
Oh, interesting.
And the last one that I've been playing is Cyberpunk 2077 because I haven't stopped playing that game since it came out. If I'm being honest, I've done so many playthroughs of it now, but I'm going through the platinum as well for that on PS5. But I can't tell if some of them are broken.
Oh,
so like I'm what am I at? I think I'm at like 70%. I honestly don't have that many to go. As well, it actually doesn't seem that bad.
Yeah, a couple of golds will probably buff that up like a fair way.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, just being like I've got 2 saves on there, and I'm probably gonna have to start a 3rd one to get some of the other trophies. But that's fine. That'll be like my 8th playthrough or something.
Ooh, damn.
But I mean, we'll talk more about Cyberpunk below. But if you guys have not seen Edge Runners as well, the anime that came out on Netflix,
that's on my watch list.
Please do yourself a favor. It's incredible. And yeah, we'll talk more about Cyberpunk below. But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that from a mix of people who have said it's very good.
It
Um,
is, as the kids would say, goated with the sauce.
Goated with the sauce.
That's right.
Very cool. So, jumping into our regular news topics for this month, we'll start off with Diablo 4 leaks. So, 40 minutes of gameplay footage from friends and family close testing made its way onto the internet. And that seems to be the way with a bunch of things at the moment getting leaked. Obviously, there's another big leak story which we'll get to later on in the podcast, but yeah, how do like what do we think about this, and obviously like the general status and well-being of employees who have been kind of disappointed with this stuff recently?
I mean, this one is just like a mega weird because it's like a friends and family, and apparently what happened was someone was streaming this in Discord to like
Oh,
their friends or something, and then one of those friends was streaming it to someone else who just yoinked the footage.
oh,
Yeah, and that's how. But I mean, once again, like we'll talk about it later with the other one, but it's just 40 minutes of kind of inconsequential footage. Like,
mm,
is it bad that it leaked? Yes, but also like no spoilers happened. It was kind of just like Diablo combat, and you kind of already know what you're getting
yeah,
with Diablo combat. So it's not the worst, but it's a pretty bad look.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, kind of sucks that the person was streaming it and then obviously on stream sort of thing. Um,
Mm.
yeah, I hate to say it, but that's kind of at their own fault.
Oh
Like,
yeah, for
uh,
sure, for sure.
it's like, man, I showed this like video to someone else, and they just happened to show that video to more people. Like,
Mhm.
just sounds like old school video leaks.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, pretty disappointing with the leaks at the moment, and upsetting for the people in the industry, because obviously we know
Yeah,
how hard they work on these games, and
especially like, there's like game workers are like so, you know, underpaid and
mm,
overworked, and then like usually the only time they get to like be like happy about the thing they made is like,
when they
at the
finally get to show it off.
when they show it off, and
Yeah,
then this sort of stuff happens, and it's just like, yeah, pretty heartbreaking.
yeah, it is very heartbreaking. But as I think Neil Druckmann put out a statement the other day, like he said, when the game's like finally released, people won't really remember that leaked footage at the end of the day. So be proud of what you're putting together, and when it finally comes out, like
Mm.
show it off, sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, and I mean, I think a couple of other developers in the past week or so have put out like early alpha footage of what their game used to look like. I saw uh, Last of Us footage. I saw footage from Control. Man, crazy what they
Mm.
like. They looked like early on. So yeah.
Yeah, that is fair.
Hmm. I guess moving on to the next piece of news, we've got, pardon me, the Nvidia 40 series. So they've shown off two cards, the 12 gig and the 16 gig, and the 24 gig version. So Nvidia's new modding tools and will add ray tracing to almost everything, even Morrowind. And
Mm.
DLSS promises 4 times the frame rate. Um,
Yeah. Um, yeah, these cards are pretty nuts. I mean, it seems like the fact that there's two 4080 cards tells me that that 12 gig spec is probably a 4070, but they didn't want to sell it for less money. So they're
yes.
like, yep, they're 4080s.
Yep.
um, and yeah, 4090, like that thing is going to cost you like an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
And apparently that thing can like suck back like 650 watts
Mm.
of power, which
Yes.
is insane.
Very
Um,
nutty.
But I think the coolest thing of that was the modding tools to add ray tracing to any game you want. If you
Mm.
haven't seen that, you guys should definitely check that out. It's really cool. They added it to Portal, and Portal will be releasing with an update to add ray tracing into it. It's really cool. And yeah, I mean, 4 times the frame rate with the next generation of DLSS. It's pretty sick, but I'm wondering how smeary it's going to look if that's the case, because it's now interpolating another frame in between 2 frames is how they're getting the extra performance, because they're using AI to determine from the previous frame and the frame yet to come.
Yeah, it's kind of like with video, like with frame blending, essentially, where it just stitches in that what it thinks should be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, cool. I mean, these things are going to be
pricey as hell.
Yeah, they're going to try and make it to be pricey, but I don't think it's going to work out for Nvidia. Because I think they're now, like, have you seen the price drops of all the other 3080 cards?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was set to buy, and I think it's kind of come at the perfect time now, where I was going to buy a 3080 Ti, because I'm running a 1060 at the moment, so I'm well behind in terms of what my PC is at. So I was like, oh, I was going to buy the 3080 Ti, and now it's just come at like the perfect time with the price drop, because I don't think, for what it's worth, I don't need a 4080 at this stage. Like, whilst it is going to be, I think they said like 4 times as powerful as the 3080 Ti.
In quotations.
Yeah.
It's seemingly more like maybe nearing 2.
Yeah, exactly. So like, for what the benefit's gonna be, I think I'm better off just going the 3080 Ti at this stage, because they're only pretty recently out as well, and you can get them for like $800 now, I want to say, maybe even less. And I
don't know what kind of dealer you got, but I need to be put with him.
Oh, I will shoot you some links afterwards. I got a hookup.
Let's go, dude.
Yeah, so I mean, cool to see. But yeah, kind of, unless you are desperately needing this, I think I'd say hold off for the time being.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Very nice. Do you want to take this this next piece of news?
Yeah, sure. So Valve Steam Decks have been doing extremely well when it comes to production. Turns out, global chip shortage isn't slowing these guys down, because they've actually beat their production estimate and pushing forward with more reservation emails, which is very, very backwards in today's world.
Yeah.
But what do you actually think of the device overall?
I think it's pretty cool. I think we've spoken about the Steam Deck on a couple of podcasts before, but I like it's not necessarily like a new concept. I think it's a kind of improved Switch almost, with a good game library, because I think the support for the Steam Deck is now kind of ramped up to the point where it is like a viable product to go out and buy, for the everyday consumer sort of thing. So
yeah,
I like it. I think Valve have done like a pretty good job. Obviously, it hasn't come out to a bunch of markets, aka Australia, yet. But no, really like the idea, like the concept.
Yeah, that's just the thing, right? Australia just doesn't get things like this, so then we have to go through like a third-party fencing site that then sends it into us, and by the time it gets here, it's $2,000 later.
Yeah, exactly. $2,000 later. If our internet can keep up with it, that's another thing too. Like,
I mean, it's just Steam on a handheld.
That's
like
true.
Internet would be fine.
Yeah.
But actually, one of the one of the people in my chat is actually getting this very soon. So
Ooh.
I'm excited to see what he thinks. But I mean, from watching it, it seems like kind of an ideal device. Like, it's just like the fact you can take Cyberpunk on the go. God damn, that's just sick.
Yeah,
And I imagine Gen 2 is going to be even more cracked once the new AMD chips are out,
definitely.
which are coming out soon. Ryzen's
58?
7 series.
Oh, 7 series. Yeah.
7 series, yeah. I think we're up to now because right now we're on 5 series.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll have to wait and see if we even ever get them.
Yeah.
My guess is we won't, which sucks. But
I
what can you do?
I reckon we might get it once like the hype for them has sort of died down, and they're looking for that like second burst almost. Yeah, maybe like a Gen 2 type thing.
I think more the problem that they don't come here is warranty issues.
Yeah, I think.
But
I think Valve has had a couple of issues, and Steam have had a couple of issues in the past with like Australian consumer law.
Yep, they sure have.
And refunds and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I think they've kind of learned their lesson about wanting to enter the foray of a new market and and have to play by Australian laws, which can at times be pretty shitty and expensive to ship to as well. Like,
oh yeah. We are like right down the bottom, so it's not fun logistics wise.
No, yeah. So it's a wait and see for Australia, and hopefully we don't have to jump through many hoops. And someday, someday. And kind of off the back of that, we've also got the Logitech cloud-based handheld revealed. And the price has also been revealed. So $350 and 550 AUD. Obviously, this runs off an Android operating system and a couple of other things. But yeah, Logitech, we've spoken about this deck before, and their sort of entry into the market. But what do you think about that price? And how does that actually compare to the Steam Deck's price? I'm actually not too sure.
The Steam Deck, I believe, is also, is it $399 US?
$399 US. Yep.
God damn, I'm clean with it.
Well done.
Well, like looking at the specs of this thing, it's got a Snapdragon 720G.
Yep.
Which means it's already way under.
Yeah.
But I mean, honest to God, this thing is just gonna be like it's a lot to put it as a cloud gaming things. But also like this is just gonna be another handheld emulator.
Yeah. I think for the price it seems very optimistic. For, as you say, a cloud-based only system, and obviously it will require like a subscription sold separately, so that's kind of just your base price for it pre whatever else you need to get for this.
Yikes.
Yeah, so like looking at the site now, it says cloud requires a cloud subscription service sold separately to work as intended, such as the Nvidia GeForce Now or Xbox Game Pass. So, yeah, I think for the price, especially for us Australians at $550, goddamn, yeah, it's a lot of money to invest before you've even got a game on it to play.
Well, I guess the game we got to play on is your subscription to Game Pass.
Yes.
So you've technically got your whole Game Pass library.
That's true. That's very true. Man, yeah. I think this will be like a wait and see kind of item, especially with like the Steam Deck. I think everyone's preference would be that. Especially with like, because I think every gamer on the planet has Steam in some capacity and at least some library to back it up as well.
Well, also like this handheld is useless in Australia. We don't have the internet to support it.
Also, yes.
So Steam Deck being naturally just really good hardware,
Mm,
you're just playing it off of the console's hardware. Whereas
yeah.
there is no way you're gonna run Elden Ring at 30 frames a second on that Snapdragon chip.
No chance. Yeah. AMD's series of chips is gonna trump a Snapdragon any day of the week. Um,
For
nutty,
sure.
nutty. But yeah, Logitech have been sort of jumping further into the gaming space with different peripherals and stuff. Obviously, they've always been known for that, but adding more steering wheels and pedals, headsets, gaming earbuds, microphones, and like a light bar, light beam for streamers. Um, yeah,
It's, I mean, more of the same.
yeah, yeah. It is very much more of the same, but it just seems like they're kind of pushing it a bit harder, I guess.
I, I guess it's been a while since they've had like a quite like a big refresh.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously, I work in a store that holds a lot of their electronics, and I've been looking at the same boxes for the last like 3 years. So,
Mhm.
and now coming through our door are all the new ones. So it's kind of like almost like a rebrand in a way, like a reboot of just completely new stock to try
Mm,
and sell you again on the same thing you already own.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like a very timely manner to drop this as well. Holiday season, surprisingly 2 months away. Goddamn. So
Yep.
yeah, I think it's a very timely position for Logitech in market with the amount of
Mm.
kids wanting to get into streaming and peripherals that they need to get started, that sort of thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
crazy. Next up, we've got a Cyberpunk 2077 bounce back. Obviously, Ina sort of alluded to this in his gaming intro, but yeah, do you want to speak through
Yeah.
sort of this one?
So the launch of Cyberpunk Edgerunners, to say the least, has brought new life into Cyberpunk 2077. The concurrent players for Cyberpunk, and this is just on Steam, went up to 87,000,
Mm,
which is quite a lot for a single player game that came out 2 years ago. Um, and that's just 1 week after the anime series has come out.
crazy.
So just the positive reception of Cyberpunk has either brought new people into the game or made old ones return who maybe were, pretty disappointed with their first playthrough of it.
Hmm.
But yeah, the Steam reviews now for the last like week or two have been very positive. So I mean, it turns out all that hard work that they kept putting back into it to fix their game has actually paid off, and their second chances is coming,
Hmm.
and they obviously want it. They want that No Man's Sky turnaround. Like
Mm,
they're very committed to that. And yeah, it's just, as someone who who really really liked Cyberpunk at launch, and it was my game of the year.
yes.
Even I feel lucky that my computer just was the perfect spec for it, apparently, because I only had like 2 bugs my entire playthrough. Rip base console users.
Yep.
But yeah, that game is sick, and it's only gotten better. So
Yeah.
if you're someone who's never played it and have thought about it, definitely I would say pull the trigger and grab a copy, because I think it's still on its encore sale. You can
Mm.
grab it for really cheap on pretty much every single platform. So yeah, definitely give it a go. It's very good. It's very good.
Yeah, I think I saw this one pop up in my Twitter feed this week, and I've just looked it up again to make sure I'm getting it correct. But each day of this week, Night City has been visited by 1 million players, both new and returning,
Mhm.
which is insane. Like, I think everyone knows how much like Netflix has sort of lost its user base in the past week, but I think, or like the past couple of months, but I think the Netflix effect is very, very real. Like, both the Edge Runners update for Cyberpunk, I think, Drive to Survive for the F1 has been massive for bringing on new people. Both Netflix
Well,
series and
I
like,
think I think I think it's just good transmedia. I don't necessarily think
yeah,
it has to be Netflix. Like look what the Witcher TV show did for The
Yes,
Witcher
yeah,
3.
Witcher
It
TV
pulled like
series.
it pulled players back up to like 100K concurrent,
Yeah.
like, and that was like a 5-year-old game at that point,
Mm.
like a 4-year-old game. So yeah, I think it's just, but it's finally good that they've been fixing it alongside and keeping their
Yeah.
heads down, and this explosion of just this insane anime done by Trigger has just really pulled it back and shone some new light on the world, and yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, very much like a no, hopefully like a No Man's Sky effect for this one, where it sort of has its comeback moment. Because
Hope so.
yeah, happy to see it happening. And then on to the kind of sad, the
Oh
biggest
man,
news of the past
this year,
week, month,
this
yeah,
year.
year. Sort of like the Friends intro with this one. GTA 6, so the game we alluded to earlier, has had some massive leaks and by the looks of it is about to receive some more. So I'm not going to name them because bad publicity for them, and they get enough of it already. But I've heard a mix, but first off, it was an ex-employee. Then I heard like it was a 16-year-old from the UK. Now I've heard that it's like an actual hacking group. Either way, they've dropped 90 different clips from the game. A lot of it's like early alpha type stuff, so not like whilst it does have some resemblance to the game and what it will look like and be, um, it's not like a final thing. But it's included, and I
It's not
quote,
even.
it's got a couple of different things, including like alligators and sex robots, and even like kind of confirmed the two different characters which we'd heard about previously, like the Bonnie and Clyde type situation with like the Brazilian or I think was it Brazilian lady who they said.
Is she an Espanol or?
Yeah. Uh, I'll just say Hispanic because I'm not too sure which country it was, and I don't want to get it wrong. So there's the Hispanic lady, and what looks to be white trash man.
Yeah, we got Trevor back again.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, this is like, it's not even a leak. This is just like a bursted pipe. Like this thing this is a flood.
Yeah.
Like, but I think the thing about it that has been like the most discouraging and like just makes me realize how dumb gamers is just their response to it. They go, wow, this looks like shit, doesn't even look finished. It's like, yeah, it's not finished, and it like the visuals is kind of like the last part you work on. You kind of make sure all the core mechanics work first before you slap like a nice coat of paint on it. Like what's the point in putting in a character and not rigging its animations and then just making it look good and he's just running around T-posing? Like it's just like there's no point. You have to make sure that the engine can actually go first before you paint it a color.
Exactly.
And yeah, I don't know, man. Just seeing people react to it being like, this looks like horrendous, this looks so unfinished, this looks the same, and it's like, man, this is like, most likely it's footage that's probably a year old of some dev builds from way back. They're using assets from GTA 5 to get ideas across.
Yeah.
Like of what things, like so many of those buildings, I looked at them and I'm like, these just look like GTA 5 assets, which means they're just literally they're there to placehold for buildings that will be put there or things that will be put there, just so that they have an idea,
a visualization scale piece.
Yeah, exactly. And it just goes to show, like, it's also kind of in a bad way, I think, that not a lot of light gets shone on how games are actually made, and maybe that's also a fault of the industry too, because it's like, maybe we should be showing more early gameplay development so people can normalize it and be like, oh yeah, it looks like trash, and it's like, yep, that's how everything starts. Like, it's 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 literally usually the back year, like the last year of development, where things start to actually look
take
nice.
place. Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
think
I mean,
I don't think many people realize that most games, if not every game, starts out as a box.
yep.
That is literally the first asset that's loaded into every single game scene. Whether it be Unity, whether it's Unreal, I'm sure it's the same for in-house engines as well, like whatever Rockstar use. But literally every game starts as a box, and it goes from there. Shocker.
Yep.
And what you've seen in these videos is literally like dummy characters who they're or buildings or copy pasted assets, and it's just to get an idea. Yeah, but I agree. I think we need to kind of normalize that in the gaming scene where we've got uh, early alpha footage or pictures or assets. I think it's not very often shown to the gaming community, and that's why it seems like so shocking to everyone to go, oh my god, man T-pose at counter, men have generic response text to situation. Like,
yeah.
The amount of hours and the amount of people who go into making these games, especially at like AAA studios like Rockstar.
Especially at Rockstar, it's thousands of people.
Yeah, like you've got all these people working on the game for X amount of years, like
6, 7.
6, 7 years. Like, I mean, you and I were saying the other day, like how many games were released in like the PS3 era. Yeah, that was like a much longer period, but like, and then you've got Red Dead 2, which was the only game to come out in the PS4 era, which shows just like how many people they had working on a single game. But as we all know, that game came out and it is really, really good. And that's just a result of the amount of hours and time and effort and everything that they put in, and crunch, yeah, and definitely crunch that was put into making it like a fantastic product. But it would have definitely started off as a plane and a box.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing, but once again, it's like, it's a thing of like, the footage they showed was so inconsequential. Like, we got nothing from it. We're like, yeah, that sure does look like GTA.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't any story leaks. Like, and because so many assets were placeholder, it wasn't like, oh, look at Vice City.
Yeah,
and it's a new engine. It was like, look at these placeholder buildings in a GTA engine.
Wow, holding up a petrol station. That's so new for a GTA game. Holding up a diner. Damn. Yeah. Never seen that one before.
The only thing that has me a little concerned, potentially, if the rumors are to be true, of the source code of GTA 5, GTA 5 Online, GTA 4 being in control of this person. That's a little scary, but yeah, you never know what people are going to do with source code. Like, so I don't know. That's the only thing that concerns me a little for the devs, but other than that, all the rest of it, like, as bad as the leak is, everything that was shown is pretty inconsequential. Did you actually see the footage?
Yeah.
I've seen plenty of it. I
watched a fair bit. Obviously there was like that massive hour-long video, but then I kind of went back and looked at specific clips because I was like, okay, this is petrol scene, this is a petrol station diner scene, the dude talking to the guy in what looked to be like a trailer park type scenario.
I watched like 4 clips. I was like, I literally just went, yep, that's game development, and then I closed it. Like, there was just a huge thread of them, and I just like, I literally couldn't even be bothered to look at the rest of them. I was just like, yep.
It's very much, it was very much like that, where I was like, very much just GTA. As you say, very non-consequential to the overall piece of it. But as we sort of said earlier, very sad for like the people working on it, but
you don't want but still, you don't want your game to be shown like that if you're not actively showing them things like that, if that's not your intention.
Definitely.
That sucks.
Definitely not. But something that we didn't leave in the notes for this one is it's now in the hands of the FBI.
Oh yeah, that's
So,
right. It is too.
so this has gone to be a bigger matter than just
Well, that's because this same person hacked
Uber.
Uber.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, allegedly same guy hacked Uber as well. So don't know what he was looking for from Uber outside of like
Dude,
their
this guy's
mapping
kind of
technology.
this dude's kind of cracked, bro.
Yeah, right. Nuts. Yeah, absolutely insane. So,
Dude, he literally has like a 20-star wanted level. This guy's so screwed.
he
Like,
he got tanks
oh,
rolling up at his front door.
for real though. Like, I wouldn't even be scared of the FBI. I'd just be scared of the rockstar lawyers more than the
Oh.
FBI, if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
They're gonna bury that man when they
Yeah.
find him.
Yeah, he's gonna maintain that wanted level for a long time.
Yeah, I hope he's found a nice place in the woods because he needs to get off the grid ASAP.
No left down, right up cheat code to save you this time, buddy.
That's right.
Got a couple of other pieces of news, obviously not as big as that one. But Ted Lasso's AFC Richmond will be playable in FIFA 23, kind of to that Cyberpunk cross promotion through different channels. I really like this. Not really like a FIFA player in any sense, but I kind of like this crossover. It just feels right. Like as I've watched the TV show. It's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, by the way, definitely go give that a watch. It's on Apple TV, which is a weird one, but unless you are specifically getting it for Ted Lasso. We had it because we had like a free trial, and that was literally the only reason I watched it. So yeah, if you are keen on that, definitely.
Yeah, definitely haven't I'm definitely not gonna watch it, but I know the actor.
Yes.
I've seen his face everywhere. And yeah, I think I read like a small headline with that today and I was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, it's an interesting piece, but I think it's like a cool little crossover. And just a small piece of news for this month. Kind of outside of the regular norm. Gearbox is expanding the Tiny Tina universe, calling it its new franchise. They also mentioned in the article that was put out that they've sort of started development on this and expanding it out. So I actually haven't played the Tiny Tina game that came out, but
I played it to like level 20 and I stopped.
Okay, so 50-50 on it?
I guess I was also playing on a laptop, so it wasn't very fun.
Okay. That was that era.
But I'm still on a laptop.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's okay. Still like the same Borderlands humor, but the villain was at least way better.
Okay.
Yeah, Will Arnett. It's a much
nice.
better villain than the two cringe twins.
Yeah, they were. That was a choice.
That's definitely a choice. That's for sure.
Yeah. What do you think about it being turned into a franchise? Like, do you think it warrants being a franchise separate from Borderlands?
No. I think it could be like a DLC franchise where they make a Tiny Tina's every single mainline game.
Yep.
But I don't think they should have it be its own separate thing. Okay. Even though, like most people have landed on it's pretty good.
Okay.
But I'm just like, nah, it could just be. We don't have to have two simultaneous Borderlands franchises going side by side.
I'm just trying to look up the sales numbers for this one, but
it must have done pretty well because I think Take-Two was like, yeah, this is going super sick.
So the number that's just showed up for it does not seem correct. The PlayStation 4 version of Tiny Tina's Wonderland sold 5,000 copies within the first week.
That seems
Remarkably low.
that does not seem good.
That seems like indie game release levels.
Well,
Five.
I mean,
Well, to be fair, 5,427. Oh, in the first week in Japan.
oh, that's pretty good for Japan.
Okay.
Japan don't buy Western games very often.
Thank God that was that expanded out a little bit. I would have been very worried that they were like cheering for 5,000 copies.
Yeah, nah. I mean, at some point, it took the #1 spot and the #2 spot in UK sales chart, so I think it must have done pretty well.
It's pretty good then. But yeah, maybe just based on sales targets alone, they've thought that it's a good one or good enough to.
But they
release.
probably also like was a good like monetary flip because they would have had a lot of assets already made.
That's true.
And so they were just like, "Yep, we made this in 1 year."
Yep.
And they made X amount of money. They're like, yes, please, more of that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I don't know. I'm 50-50. I'm not really a fan of Tiny Tina as a character either. So maybe that's just me.
I don't mind, but yeah, she's not my favorite. That's just said.
Yeah.
That goes to TK, obviously.
Definitely. And kind of the final big piece of news for the month of September is that Overwatch 2 loses its lead designer a couple of weeks ahead of the game's release. This game's starting to seem like a bit of a shambles, if you ask me. Aside from the fact that it was like given a bunch of shit for the maps and being essentially quote unquote DLC. I don't know if that's what caused this guy to want to leave, but it's seeming like it could be a potential.
It could also be the thing of like he feels like he's piloted it to the end of its course.
Yeah.
Like being like, okay, you guys are already there. You're now just in like polish mode. I'm going, but I don't really know the story of why he left, to be honest. But sometimes it can just be that they're like, okay, I'm ready to go do something else. I've been working on Overwatch 2 for 6 months because that's how long development time has been on it. But
yeah,
that's a joke, by the way.
Yes.
But yeah, who knows why people leave Blizzard these days? It's hard to tell whether it's something, as easy as they want to move on and do something else, or if they are getting the boot for another reason.
Yeah, It does. Like in the article, it says that he made the decision to leave Blizzard earlier this year, but that seems pretty timely for around the news that we had earlier this year. And kind of follows on in the article to say, although no reason was given for why Goodman left, it comes after a series of high-profile Blizzard departures in the build-up and aftermath of the lawsuit filed by the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing, blah, 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 for workplace discrimination and harassment. So, TLDR.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's never a good look to see them like leave prior to the game actually launching.
Yeah,
it's but yes, sometimes it's required. Yeah,
I almost wish it had been like a see it out type scenario. As always, you want to see sort of big studio heads and designers stick around for the game's launch. Yes, he may have had this one on the cards since earlier this year, but yeah, seems like a job almost done type scenario.
Almost.
Yeah.
He nearly made it.
Yeah, literally. But that seems to be the Blizzard way at the moment.
That's true.
But I think that's sort of the biggest pieces of news for the month of September. There is going to be a topic that we discuss after the recording cuts off, so if you want that one, stick around for that on the Twitch channel, the Twitch VOD on Eenaa's channel. This is Twitch After Dark.
That's true.
As we've kind of aptly named it. But yeah, I think that about wraps us up for this month's episode of the Game Lounge podcast. Can I get your closing statement, Eeenaa?
Please go play Cyberpunk. Thank you.
That's a good one. And on that same sort of vein, I'll say go watch Eeenaa's YouTube channel. Had to get the second cheeky shout out here at the end.
My heart.
Yeah, as we sort of mentioned earlier on, good amount of content coming. Also got like a really good catalog so far, and good lengthy videos too. So chuck them on.
Some are long.
I chucked mine on during the workday the other day and just had a listen. It's very the music in the background choice is very soothing. Good.
It's true.
And as Jordy likes to, as he said, like discuss games in depth. You'll get a good amount of information out of it too. So, very good in-depth look there. So,
thank you.
As always, thank you for checking out the Game Lounge podcast. And until next time, we'll see you later. Bye bye.
Goodbye.